Alrighty, guys. Well, it is the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right in, out of respect for everybody who is here on time, and dive right into the content and kick it off. Today, I am going to show you how to set up a predictable listing machine with virtual assistants, so you can grow your revenue fast without having to constantly stress about lead generation, battle uncertainty and guesswork, or work your life away. Okay. My goal for you today on this webinar is to be able to walk away with an understanding of what are some of the things that work for really successful agents that we at MyOutDesk get to see the behind the scenes of, that might not be so apparent to the naked eye, right? Sometimes you can look at something and think, oh, I understand that, I know that already, but when you dig a little deeper, you realize that somebody else might be doing it in a whole different way, and that's why they're being very successful with it, whereas most cases where you see of it, they're not as successful. So yeah, my goal for you today, again, is able to walk away with a revelation and some insights into how some agents seem to be able to just almost effortlessly build predictable success and scale their businesses and break through all their glass ceilings, okay? And you've heard it before. You probably heard this little parable before, but if you chase two rabbits, you won't catch either. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is this. You're investing an hour of your time here with me in the webinar today, so if you're going to be here, then please simply be here, okay? If you're distracted, if you're on the webinar but you're also on Facebook, you're chasing two rabbits. If you're on the webinar but you're also on your cell phone texting, you're chasing two rabbits. Right? If you're on the webinar and doing anything else but on the webinar, you're chasing two rabbits. And if you chase two rabbits, you won't catch either. So please, if you're going to be here, then be here and let me, enable me to give you a great return on your investment of time today. But the only way that I can do that is the only way you can enable me to do that is if you give me your focus and your attention, okay? And also, if you stay until the end of the webinar, if you stay all the way through, not only will you get an insight and perspective on how some of today's most successful agents are succeeding with some seemingly sleepy or simple strategies, but also you're going to get a chance to see how MyOutDesk is reimagining the future for what hiring in real estate looks like. We are completely reimagining the future of what it looks like for a real estate agent to hire and build their team. And so if you stay all the way through the end, you're going to be able to learn about that. Now, you've probably been on a lot of webinars before, right? You're a real estate agent or you're in real estate, which means you get invited to webinars 10 times a day practically, right? And I've been on a lot of webinars. So typically, if you get on a webinar in the first few minutes, you're trying to decide whether it's worth staying all the way through to the end. And the question you're probably asking yourself is, well, what makes this different? Well, a few things make this different. First off is that this is based upon real-world insights. You're going to see proofs and case studies of the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you. This is going to be some unique stuff that you can decide for yourself the next few minutes if I'm not delivering on just that, okay? So give it at least a few minutes to get into the content so that you can start seeing some of the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you and see for yourself if it isn't completely unique to what anything else you maybe have heard out there before, all right? And if it also doesn't seem to make sense in the real world, all right? And the other thing that's going to be different about today's webinar is that we here at MyOutDesk have a big picture perspective. I also like to think of it as an advantage. And what do I mean by that? Well, most real estate agents, if you're building your business, what are you doing? You're working on your business. And that implies that you're working on your individual business, right? And that means that sometimes you can kind of get lost in the forest, in the trees and in the weeds, right? And as the old saying goes, don't miss the forest for the trees. But it's hard to do that when you got to wake up and run a business and take care of clients and make sure you make a paycheck so you can pay for the bills and whatnot, right? Well, we here at MyOutDesk have the advantage of having the big picture perspective at all times. We have over 1,500 actively placed virtual assistants right now today, supporting over 1,200 real estate agents and teams. And what we get to see as a human resources company is we get to see what happens, what works, what really works for hiring, for strategy, for process in the real world, all right? You know, technology companies like maybe CRM platforms, their big picture perspective is data. We as a human resources company, our big picture is strategy and process. what really works to deliver results, regardless of the technology or the tools that you're using. And that's the advantage that we have. And that's the advantage that you're going to get access to today by going through this training and hearing from us, okay? Now, a little bit about myself, and then we'll dive right in. So my name is Andre Polston, for those of you who haven't heard a webinar with me before, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at MyOutDesk. And a little bit about me is, as a kid, you might be able to relate to this. As a kid, I absolutely loved puzzles, riddles, clue games, and mystery novels like Sherlock Holmes. I soaked those things up all the time. As an adult, I now obsess with cracking the code to what works really well. Doesn't matter to me if it's, in my professional life, if it's in my career, or if it's with a hobby, or is it with a sport, whatever it may be. I'm just one of those guys that's always kind of obsessing with cracking the code, figuring out the puzzle, the riddle, the clues, and the mystery, right? And that's just me, and that's just how I'm wired, and that's kind of what I bring to the table. I also have this underlying philosophy, and you may agree with it, is that learners are earners. All right, and I don't remember who I heard that from first, whether it was Tony Robbins or Zig Ziglar or another thought leader, but I heard that somewhere along the way. I'm sure you've probably heard of it too, and I found that to be very true. Learners are earners. I found that to be true in my life, and I found that to be true in other people's lives. So you're here on a webinar, here to learn, and I'm going to assume that you probably, on some level, can agree with that and relate with it as well, with that belief. And you too probably believe that learners are earners, which is why you're probably here to learn. Well, speaking of wanting to learn and earn, earlier this year, in February, I hosted the Get Listing Summit. And on the Get Listing Summit, it was a virtual summit about getting listings. I got a chance to interview and learn from over 35 of the most successful agents, coaches, and leaders in real estate. And what I've been doing since then with that body of work is boiling it down to the essentials, if you will, right? Taking all the different points of data and boiling it down to the most essential, the most effective, and the ones that could be most universally applicable for any real estate agent, regardless of the stage of your business, regardless of the unique market that you may be in, or regardless of any circumstances that you may be dealing with, okay? I've boiled it down to the essentials. And now what you're going to learn today is a combination of my journey of obsession and MyOutDesk's big picture advantage, okay? So that is what makes this training today, this webinar, so very different than any other webinar that you've ever been on before. And so if you stick with me and you give me an hour of your time all the way through, see for yourself if I don't deliver in spades on this promise, okay? All right, now, diving in here and queuing up the content. Our clients nowadays are doing a lot of things right because they have the advantage of having access to the MyOutDesk advantage, right? But as you can imagine, we as a company, and a lot like how life happens, initially you don't do everything right when you're trying something new. Well, we figured out what was right, what was wrong, and initially, early on, the company did a lot of things wrong until we figured out what is right. And now we're able to translate that for our clients when they come into our community, okay? Now, after doing this for over 10 years and going from doing a lot of things right to doing a lot of things, going from doing a lot of things wrong to doing a lot of things right, we've learned a few key things that are positive pieces of information once you understand them. One is this: you can build a real estate business from just 1 to 2 lead sources because all leads can be traced upstream to just a handful of predictable sources, okay? The second thing that we've learned is most mainstream advice is pushed by vendors selling products, and so they're trying to push advice that is centric to selling their product, okay? And also we've learned that there are 3 patterns successful agents have in common that you can model and eliminate most of your headaches, uncertainty, and guesswork. And the best part of it is that any agent can do this, okay? And I'm going to spend the rest of today's training unpacking the key core insights behind what I've just shared with you. Now, we discovered all these things the hard way, right? Being out in the marketplace, trial and error. You get to ethically cheat today and get the easy way with this webinar. So I hope that you have a pen and a notepad handy, that you're going to take notes on the things that make sense for you. Now, just to let you know what the hard way was for us and for other real estate clients that have come to us over the many years, so that you can understand and get a better feel for the kind of issues and challenges that we're now good at solving here at MyOutDesk for our new clients and for our community. The hard way is this: riding that roller coaster we call the real estate business and going through that endless feast and famine cycle. A lot of new clients and community members that come into our community are dealing with that. Another thing that we had to go through the hard way, and a lot of our clients had to go through the hard way before they joined working with us, is losing thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours on the hire and fire cycle trying to build a team. Okay, and also then is investing lots of money into technology, leads, people, and marketing, only to see marginal results at best, and also kind of just ending up having your work own your life and losing out on time with family, friends, loved ones, making memories, and just in general being able to have fun regularly. If the idea of balance sounds like a sci-fi fantasy to you, then you're in an especially good place, okay? Take a sip of my tea there and move forward. So let me ask you a rhetorical question that I'm sure everybody could say yes to, but let me ask you this. Right before, last slide here, right before we dive into the meat and potatoes and start really digging in, would you like me to show you the easy way to set up predictable streams of new listings without all the headaches? And I'm going to go to the chat box and check the chat box to make sure that you're paying attention and listening. So please type into the chat box and let me know if you're tracking with me, if you're game with me and you're ready to rock and roll, if you've got a pen and notepad handy and you want me to dive into the content. All right, I'm getting yes, yes, woohoo. Is that a question? Yep, of course, yes, 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 please. Ready, Doc from Vancouver. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, let's do it. Awesome. Yes, let's do it. Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to rock and roll. All right, so the 3 secrets that I'm going to cover with you today that we've boiled down into this training, again, from my journey of obsession and also from MyOutDesk's big picture advantage, okay? Obviously, this isn't all the insights and the secrets that we have access to, but these are 3 that I believe are very powerful and very applicable to you right now immediately to be able to deploy in your business. Secret number 1 is I'm going to show you how agents are getting scammed by the real estate lead generation sub-industry. I'm also going to show you how you can get good listing leads for less than $2,000 a month. And if you had to, I'll even show you how you could get them for less than $1,000 a month if you had to do it all on your own. And then secret number 3 is I'm going to show you how you can build a predictable business without hijacking your entire life, all right, without having it completely own you. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in, and I'm going to keep moving forward. So secret number 1 is this. Agents are getting scammed by the real estate lead generation sub-industry. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Well, earlier this year on the Get Listing Summit that I just mentioned to you, one of the thought leaders that I had the opportunity to interview was Howard Tager. Now, if you know who Howard Tager is, he's the founder of Tiger Leads, which was later acquired by Realtor.org. And he's currently, a couple of years later now, the founder of YLOPO.com, which is focused on transforming the quality of leads for agents, okay? But the important thing is that he revealed some dirty little secrets to me about the industry and why he's got a bone to grind with the industry and why he's back and why he's on a mission to improve the quality of what's happening out there. Okay, and this is one of the things that he had to say in a direct quote from the interview that I had with him. Howard said, the annual volume of home sales doesn't change much, but the number of leads we're producing in the industry is exponential. That's a big problem. That's a disconnect. At the end of the day, there are only an X number of transactions that are going to happen in any given realtor's market. Yet, we're producing exponential, logarithmic, geometric numbers of leads, okay? He went on to say, here's the dirty little secret of the industry. The portals, and then he's talking about the lead portals, Howard says, the portals are very upfront that, hey, we're going to sell your lead 3 or 4 times. So everybody now knows that it's a race to get to the leads. But what they're not being told is that consumer doesn't fill out a form on just one home. They might fill out 2.7 forms or 3.2 forms as an average. Well, do the math. Now that one lead is being exposed to and sold to 9 to 12 realtors, and that doesn't even include the lenders they're selling to, and those lenders have realtor partners. Now just think about that for a minute, and let me say that in a slightly different way before I go to the next slide. When we were on the video interview, Howard held up his arms, and he put one arm flat in front of his body, so it's kind of like, it's going across his body. He said, this is the line for annual home sales in the U.S. It's pretty much a straight line. It swings up a little bit, swings up a little bit down, but it doesn't take any massive swings. Now he held up his other arm almost vertically, and he said, this is the line for the number of leads that get sold in the industry. There's something very, very big in that disconnect, right? If the number of homes approximately stays around 5 million homes sold every year, then why is it that the number of leads just keeps growing and growing and growing? Something doesn't make sense. There's a massive disconnect, right? And that's exactly what's happening here, is there's a daisy chain of leads. But another interview that I had with another real estate, with an industry veteran, Gary Elwood, uncovered a pretty strong smoking gun. He's the CEO of ProQuest Technologies. They've been around since 1995, and since then they've generated over 28 million leads for clients. And here's the math that he dug up on the industry. Because unlike some of the mainstream names in the industry on lead generation, ProQuest Technologies is very, very careful about making sure that they figure out what works, not just trying to sell leads, okay? And Gary went and did a very long research project. He dug into stats and into data from NAR, from Zillow, from Trulia, and from Active Rain. And between all that research and all those sources of information, he was able to reduce it down to this. We as an industry, that's you real estate agents, right? You as a real estate agent, we spend $12 billion approximately on marketing and advertising every year, okay? About 45% of that $12 billion spend is online spend, online advertising and marketing, which comes to about $5.4 billion in annual spend by the real estate industry on online advertising and marketing, okay? Here's the funny thing. Only about 500,000 units a year are sold by real estate agents as a result of their online marketing. This is directly from NAR, okay? So if you take $5.4 billion, that's the amount of money that we're spending every year on online advertising, and you divide it by the number of units sold as a result of online advertising efforts and spend, the average transaction nationally is costing $10,800 for agents. Now that's absolutely nuts. That's not sustainable. And if you think about it, you and I both probably know real estate agents who are successful with online leads. As a matter of fact, you may even be having success with online leads. But here's the deal. On the whole, on the average, across the nation, what this totals up to is that most agents are woefully unprofitable with online leads. This is accounting for all those different things you may have ever spent money on or heard about agents spending money on for leads, whether that's $500 here or $1,000 there or $2,500 here or $3,000 there, right? You try all these different things. Not all of them work really well, and not all of them are necessarily just buying leads. A lot of times it's a marketing strategy online, or it's a different thing that you're buying access to as a portal, or maybe some sort of banner advertising thing, whatever it may be. But when you total up all online spend, it's $5.4 billion approximately every year. And this is directly from NAR, only about 500,000 units every year. Of the 5 million units that are sold usually, or on average nationally, come from online advertising efforts. So that means that for the agents that are making money, there's a whole boatload of agents who are just literally being fleeced by a lot of different vendors who just simply see real estate agents as dollar signs, okay? Here's the deal. For every transaction online, the average agent does 5.2 transactions from repeats and referrals. Okay, let that sink in. Now, here's kind of the summary of what we've just covered. Real estate leads are being daisy-chained, okay? You've heard of daisy-chained deals in the real estate investment community? Well, real estate leads are being daisy-chained. The number of homes sold annually doesn't swing too much, but the number of leads being sold is literally climbing exponentially. And there is a massive disconnect between what's available for real estate agents in terms of the deals available in their marketplace and what the lead generation sub-industry says there is in terms of the number of the leads that they're willing to sell. When you look at the macro numbers, the way Gary broke them down, Gary Elwood from ProQuest, most of the real estate lead generation sub-industry is literally being financed by agents' repeat and referral business. But because they're able to dominate so much of the mainstream conversation around what agents need to be focused on, leads, 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 online leads, that's where most agents keep spending their money, right? And, I'm not saying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not saying that online lead generation doesn't work. But the best cases of it that I see working are typically where agents are doing their own online lead generation through Facebook or through Google AdWords, and they're either good at doing it themselves or they've hired somebody on their team to do it well for them. But typically when you start relying on other platforms and portals and vendors, they're only interested in improving their profits per lead or per dollar that they spend on advertising, not necessarily taking care of their client, you, okay? And I don't mean to be too edgy here, but it almost reminds me of a Ponzi scheme, right? Where the way the thing stays in business is by the new people who are joining are putting money in, and that's what's floating the whole thing. If you take a step back and just think about that, you might end up coming to the same conclusion as me. But with that said, now let's go to, now that I've set the foundation, let's go to secret number 2, which is you can get good listing leads for less than $2,000 a month, and if you had to, you could even do it for less than $1,000 a month, okay? Now, let me ask you a trick question that you probably don't think is much of a trick question, but let me ask you this. If you had to choose between having lots of leads or high-quality leads, right, which one would you pick? And I'm going to watch the chat box, so you better be answering. Which one is it? Lots of leads or high-quality leads? If you had to pick between lots of leads or high-quality leads, which would you pick? Chris says high-quality. Mark says high-quality. Lindwood says high-quality. Duh. Becca says high-quality. Dennis says high-quality. Tyler says lots of leads. Jeff says high-quality fascio. Doc Livingston says high-quality. Ashley says high-quality. Charlotte says high quality. Vicky says high quality. So pretty much everybody says high quality, except with the exception of one person, okay? Dave says no brainer, high quality as well. Coming in, Caroline says high quality. All right, so everybody pretty much here is saying high quality, and I personally believe that you want high quality as well. All right, let's keep going. The best leads, and I want you to really pay attention to this because, sometimes with all the mainstream advice and all the hoorah and the hoopla that's going on out there, we kind of get bent around the axle or bent around the pole about kind of keeping up with whatever's going on. But really, remember what I said earlier, is that a real estate business can be built on literally 1 to 2 good lead sources, because if you trace any lead source upstream, all leads come from a couple of predictable places, okay? If you really boil it down to simplicity, you really boil it down to the human side of things and kind of eliminate technology out of it for a minute and just think about how do humans buy or sell real estate, right? So the best leads are this. Write this down, put it on your laptop, put it on the wall, be thinking about this when it comes to lead generation at all times. The best leads are strong intent, high probability. You want to be looking for fishing holes where you can drop your fishing line and your bait and be catching fish that are strong intent, high probability, okay? Now, what does that look like? Strong intent means showing real consumer behavior, whether that's to buy or to sell. Let me give you an example. Somebody who loads up their minivan with all their kids or their SUV with all their kids and throws $100 of gas into the tank, packs lunches, and is driving around neighborhoods that they want to live in with their family, that's showing strong intent, right? That's somebody taking their Saturday afternoon to go do something with an investment of time and money, okay? That's showing strong intent. Somebody mapping out open houses and visiting a bunch of open houses. Somebody going out there and actually getting out into the real world and looking at homes. That's strong intent. That's real consumer behavior, okay? By the way, first-time buyers right now, statistically, are at a 35-year all-time low. All right, that's that younger generation. They're not buying as many homes. Do you know what that means for you as a real estate agent? That means that right now, approximately 40% of buyers are also seller opportunities. Make sure you write this down and let it all sink in. Right now, first-time buyers are at a 35-year all-time low. That means about 40% of the buyers on the market are also seller opportunities, okay? And high probability, I said strong intent and high probability. Strong intent means showing real consumer behavior. High probability means has real motivation. You want to be checking for both all the time. You want to be trying to generate leads from sources that communicate or convey implicitly that if the lead is coming from there, there's a higher chance that there's strong intent, high probability. Now, Let me give you an example of what that can look like. Now, just so you know, I have many examples that I could show you, but for the sake of time, I'm going to go through one example and break it down. Meet Chris Juarez. Chris Juarez has taken a sleepy, simple little strategy that most agents roll their eyes at called open houses. And he has completely reimagined the thing from soup to nuts. As a matter of fact, and I have to admit, I used to roll my eyes at open houses as well, and I thought those things don't work. That's just for the clients because the home seller wants to feel like the agent is doing something. And the truth is that most agents that I talk to feel the same way. But here's the deal. I interviewed Chris Juarez on the Guilt Listing Summit earlier this year, and he completely reframed my perspective on open houses. Here's what he shared with me. So here we find an open house process that nets him no less than 2 new clients per open house. Literally, he has this little mantra, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and that's how he's growing his business. But here's the more interesting part. He moved cities not once but twice, okay? Which is the #1 thing you're never supposed to do as a real estate agent, because that means you have to rebuild your entire business from scratch. Well, he moved a city once, then he moved again, and he used this strategy to rebuild his business. Did he do a few deals, or how's he doing? Last year in 2016, he did 225 deals using this strategy as a core driver. Now, I bet if I showed you some of the details of this strategy, you might be interested in going out and applying it, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Chris Juarez broke his open house process down to what he calls the 6 Ps. And right now, I'm going to show you the 7-day P, the 7-day promotion process right now, okay? So promotion is one of the 6 Ps, and I'm going to show that to you right now, okay? So this is what he does. On day 1, Chris selects an open house. On day 2, he posts that house online. He obtains a call list. He mails invites to the 100 closest owner-occupied homes around the open house, okay? Day 3, he posts online again. And then he begins to call the neighborhood, begins calls to the neighborhood for the 100 closest owner-occupied homes. And then he puts a sign in the yard. On day 3, meaning the day, this is technically a process that starts 7 days before the open house. Let me clarify that. So day 1 is technically day 7, so to speak, before the open house. And then day 2 is technically day 6 before the open house, okay? And then day 3 of the preparation process is day 5 before the open house, okay? So that's how we're reading it. So on day 3 of the preparation of the promotion process, Chris posts the property online again, begins calls to the neighborhood, and the sign goes in the yard. Then on day 4, post online again, continue to call the neighbors, invite anybody in your database tagged with interest in buying in that area where the open house is at. And then you go through sign calls to invite people to the open house, anybody who may have called off the sign. And also any internet leads related to the open house from the online posting you've been doing. Then on day 5, you post online again. You boost a social media post on Facebook for about $20. And then you also prepare your open house folder, which is always digital. And it includes the market stats, comps, and digital flyer. On day 6, he posts online again, boosts social media post again, and then does door knocking for the 100 closest owner-occupied homes, and even sometimes the homes that are non-owner occupied. And on day 7, if you didn't do the door knocking, that's the day you do it. And then you set up the signs, the actual signs for the open house, because day 7 is the day of the open house. And so for Chris, he always sets a minimum of 7 signs put out, all right, to make sure that you can maximize exposure. Now, Chris will tell you that while all these little steps individually don't seem like much, if you follow these steps in the process that I just laid out for you, he nets on average 2 prospects that turn into clients per open house, at a minimum, oftentimes more. And they found that if they skip any one of these things or leave it out, it hurts their results. Now, this is how Chris actually rebuilt his business twice. What he did is he actually scheduled 5 to 6 open houses a week. And all he would do is he would sit open houses of other, listings of other agents in his brokerage. And he would just schedule them all out 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance. And then for every single one of them, 7 days before the open house, he would start this process. The guy literally just lived and breathed open houses, and in short order was able to rebuild his business, build his business once and then rebuild it twice. And last year, using this as a core driver, Again, he did 200, him and his team did 225 deals, okay? Now I want to introduce you to somebody else, Lisa Archer. She's a client here at MyOutDesk. She started using this open house strategy in July of 2016. This is the middle of last year. And by the end of the year, by the end of last year, she had 25% of her business come from this one single strategy. Now you might ask, okay, but how much business was she doing in the first place? Well, she did 165 deals in 2016, okay? So what that means is that 41 deals came from this silly, simple strategy. Now, why did it work so well? Why it works so well is because it harnesses putting you and your brand and your business in front of strong intent, high probability folks, but then also using a specific process, a unique process that actually works. The way most agents do open houses, they don't generate these kinds of results. But with a MyOutDesk advantage, because we're able to see the behind the scenes of so many agents' businesses, and we have access to them, to talk to them, to interview them, and to pull insights from them, you know, most agents will look at open houses and roll their eyes. And understandably, I used to do the same. Maybe you do the same. But I can tell you, once seeing how this is done, how Chris does this, how Lisa does this, it's absolutely just ridiculous what's possible when you reimagine a strategy a little bit differently, ignore what most mainstream advice is trying to push you towards, and kind of like that book, Positioning by Jack Trout or Al Trout, you know, you got to zig when they zag, right? When everybody's zigging, it's time to zag. And this is using a sleepy, simple little strategy like open houses, reimagined just slightly to produce some incredible results, okay? Now, you could do this for less than $1,000 a month if you had to do it yourself. You wouldn't even have to spend that much. For less than $2,000 a month, you could literally have a perfectly well-qualified full-time virtual assistant doing most of this process for you and implementing it for you so that you could then just simply focus on the parts that you're good at and should be focusing on, okay? Which is exactly what Lisa does. She has 3 virtual assistants with MyOutDesk, and she uses them for pretty much the entire process short of door knocking and sitting the open house, okay? Now, Lisa takes it even to the next level, and she has her ISA VA with us, Circle Prospect. She has them circle prospect prior to the open house, when the house goes under contract, and even after the house closes. Both Chris and Lisa use a hybrid team for running this operation now, okay? And as a matter of fact, Lisa has altogether quit traditional farming completely and now cracks open new neighborhoods by circle prospecting a brokerage listing or sitting another brokerage listing open and following this process on it, okay, and cracking into neighborhoods. As a matter of fact, I interviewed her recently, just about 2 weeks ago. I spoke with Lisa, and she says that they are still active in the neighborhoods that they cracked into with this open house strategy middle of last year. Because as long as you keep it rolling and as long as you keep it going and you keep the process up and you keep rinsing and repeating it with every single open house, those open houses turn into more clients and more sellers and more buyers in every one of those neighborhoods, and that begets even more brand presence because then your homeowners in that neighborhood are constantly being door knocked by you or your team, being called by you or your team. And because she has she has 3 great virtual assistants with us, and because her and Chris both use hybrid teams, right, in office and virtual, they're able to not miss a beat, not skip a beat. It's not dependent on just them, and they're able to constantly keep that machine running and just keep setting up those predictable streams of new listings, okay? Now, secret number 3, how you can build a predictable business without hijacking your entire life. In the words of Tony Robbins, if you want to achieve success, all you need to do is find a way to model those who have already succeeded. Now, I've just shown you a really unique and simple example of something that is pretty common, pretty well known, but it's not the same thing as what most people think of it, right? It's not being done the way most people, or the 2 agents that are absolutely crushing it with the open house strategy that I just shared with you is unlike how most agents are doing it, right? But what you need to do is find people who are successful and simply model it. Now, earlier I shared with you that one of the things that we've learned here at MyOutDesk is that there are 3 predictable patterns that every real estate agent goes through when they're building and growing their business. And those 3 predictable patterns are this. The first pattern is that any real estate agent who's achieved any significant level of success first masters time and productivity, okay? And most of you probably have a handle on this if you're in our community and if you're subscribed and downloaded any of our ebooks or any of our free tools or resources. That means you were probably thinking about leverage. It means you're probably thinking about how to get more out of your time, maybe how to get things off your plate, so you understand the importance of mastering time and productivity. The second predictable pattern that every real estate agent is going to go through on their journey of success, and the ceiling they're going to have to break through, is learning how to hire and build a team. And this is where most agents struggle and hit a ceiling, okay? But if you're able to crack this nut, this is where you go faster, farther, okay? And this is how you build a predictable business without hijacking your entire life. And this is also how you get off the roller coaster and start scaling predictably, okay? And then the third pattern, the third predictable pattern that every real estate agent is going to go through in their journey of ultimate success is then cracking the nut on learning leadership and communicating vision. And this is about focusing on culture, leadership, and community, okay? And these are the three predictable steps and patterns that we find is true of all real estate agents who have achieved any level of significant success. I found this through my own personal journey of obsession, you know, with the Gillising Summit and the interviews, and just my many, many years of speaking with successful people in the industry. And also, when you look at the data that we have at MyOutDesk, and when I speak to our many, many countless successful clients that we have, and I ask them about their journey, everybody lines up on these three big stages throughout their real estate career, okay? Now, again, predictable pattern number one, you've probably mastered. Predictable pattern number two is what I really want to help you with, because this is where you can build a predictable business that doesn't hijack your entire life, that you can get off the roller coaster permanently. And here's the advice on how to, here's some just kind of nitty-gritty advice on how to be able to do this effectively. When you try to go hire somebody, don't try to hire someone to be Superman or Wonder Woman, because that simply doesn't work. What you want to do is you want to hire with a specific outcome in mind. You want to know exactly what will be taken off your plate forever, so that you get compound interest of time back, or as you saw with Lisa and with Chris, you want to know exactly what revenue producing process will be implemented for you, right? And then what you want to do is you want to keep your new hire or hires focused on fulfilling that one outcome until it's working. Only then add to their plate, or maybe just keep them focused on what they're producing if it's profitable, and then simply move on to your next hire and keep scaling. Okay? Now, I'm a big fan of doing it the Lisa and Chris way, which is when you hire people, know exactly what revenue producing process, like this open house strategy that's done mostly for them, what you can implement for yourself, so that you know that it's happening for you regardless of whether you're busy, sick, with a client, taking care of kids, having to handle something in your business, doctor's appointment, whatever it may be. You want to have something always in motion, so that's not completely dependent upon you, okay? Now, the three things that I've shared with you today are, number one, how agents are getting scammed by the real estate lead generation sub-industry. Number two is how you can get good listing leads for less than $2,000 a month if you had to, with a full-time qualified virtual assistant running a process for you, for less than $1,000 if you had to do it yourself. And then secret number three is I showed you how you can build a predictable business without hijacking your entire life. And that's by hiring people with an exact outcome in mind, or by hiring people who can implement a revenue producing process for you, like with what you saw with Lisa and Chris. Now, let me ask you a question. You probably feel like you've been drinking out of a fire hose. I know I've been moving incredibly fast, but what I would like to do, if you're okay with it, is I'd like to be able to show you what we've put together here at MyOutDesk to completely reimagine the future of what hiring can look like. And I want to show you how we could help you implement everything that you just learned about and a lot more at MyOutDesk. And I want to show you why our clients absolutely love us and stick with us for so long. If that's okay with you, please type it in the chat box and let me know that you're okay with me spending the next 10 minutes wrapping up and showing you how we've reimagined the future of hiring in the real estate industry. Linwood says it's okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Tanner says let's do it. Becca says yes. Come on, guys. Everybody pitch in. Dennis says okay. Awesome. Okay. Doc says I'm okay. I'm all ears. Blake says game on. All right. Caroline said, MJ says cute question. Caroline says yes. Devin says Devin says, do it. Vicky says, go for it. Tyler says, yes. Dave says, what are you waiting for? All right, more people might be responding, but I'm going to go ahead and jump right in for the sake of time. So here's what we're completely doing to reimagine the future of hiring. Remember, most of you guys have probably read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. Remember in his book, he has a triangle, and that triangle is leads, listings, and leverage, right? Well, here's the deal. Most companies in the staffing space or in the virtual assistant space, that maybe are competing with MyOutDesk, they are all categorically kind of focused on just the leverage element. What we're doing is we're reimagining hiring completely to include the leads and the listings element in it too, so that you're more likely to succeed with a hire and more likely to get off the roller coaster, off the real estate roller coaster, and start creating predictability in your business. And we put together something called a business in a box. Now, here's what you're going to get with a business in a box if you decide that this makes sense for you today and you decide to take advantage of it. What we're doing is we go out and we find an exclusive for your business, pre-trained, pre-vetted virtual assistant. What we do is we completely eliminate the hiring process for you. Remember how you used to have to write up a job ad, right? Then you have to go post it on Craigslist and post it online. Then you have to deal with all the resumes that come in. And I don't know about you, but trying to screen resumes is no fun or tell the difference between them. Then you have to deal with the screening phone calls, right? Then you got to deal with the interviews. Then you got to deal with the background checks. Well, you can eliminate that all and just completely eliminate it and not have to go through any of that process anymore. Because what we do is we find virtual assistants who have the 3 E's: experience, expertise, and employment. We find people who are experienced in the types of job tasks or roles that you need them in, whether that's transaction coordinator or marketing admin assistant, whatever it may be. We make sure that they have experience in those types of jobs, and we make sure that they have employment in jobs doing the same tasks that you need them for, so that we know that it's proven that they can do it, okay? So we put them through a background check. We check for the 3 E's, and we make sure that they're pre-trained and pre-vetted, okay? And that they're going to be exclusive to your business and not one of those operations where you think you've got an exclusive virtual assistant, but really it's a farm of virtual assistants with one English-speaking one, but the rest are not necessarily kind of, on par virtual assistants. We make sure that you have really, really high-grade, high-quality virtual assistant that passes all 3 E's, passes a background check, and is perfectly capable and completely competent in being able to implement anything you need done for your business. And also, we check for the language barrier. When you get a chance to meet any of the virtual assistants that we pick for you, what we do is we set up 2 to 4 video-based interviews for you to meet 2 to 4 assistants that we already will have pre-selected and hand-selected for you to match exactly what you need in your business and how you want to grow your business. And when you get a chance to speak with them and interview them, I believe you will be very impressed with the quality and the level of language skills and the ability to think on their feet, which is exactly why we do already have 1,500 virtual assistants currently actively placed with our clients. Now, here's the more important part too. Each one of our assistants comes with access to 5 proven strategies that they can implement for you. What does that mean? Well, you just heard about the open house strategy from Chris Suarez. Our virtual assistants, when you hire a virtual assistant through us, comes with access to the open house strategy from Chris Suarez, the bringing online, offline marketing strategy from Lisa Archer, the neighborhood niche strategy from Joel Sherlock, another very successful agent, the ultimate Facebook post strategy from Michael Mayer, who's the author of 7L, and then also the listing getting strategies from using Facebook from Josh Shanley, the founder of Client Alchemist. So when a virtual assistant, when you hire a virtual assistant with us through MyOutDesk, not only are they pre-trained, vetted, background checked, and checked for competency and skills, but they come with access to these strategies that they could implement into your business. You just pick the one that you want them to implement, and they'll get working on it right away to drive it into your business, okay? With this, what you're going to be able to do is get time-robbing tasks off your plate forever. You're going to get hours of revenue productive time back every single day and week. You're going to start seeing stability in your business, and you're going to start getting predictability in growing your business. And just as importantly, you're also going to be able to get rid of feeling like you're always in the real estate roller coaster, like you're losing your entire life and weekends to your business and clients, because you're going to have the help that you need. You're going to feel like you'll be able to get rid of wasting thousands of dollars on leads, marketing, and ideas that simply don't work, because you'll be working on projects and implementing processes that deliver strong intent, high probability sources of business. And what you're going to get today is a business in, like I said, is a business in a box, which is valued at $1,997, okay? But that's not all. We've also put together, in this process of reimagining the future of what hiring looks like or should look like for a real estate agent, we've learned that usually a hire doesn't work out in the first 90 days. If a new hire isn't going to work out, they don't work out in the first 90 days. So what we've done is we've put together a very hands-on, high level of support 90-day launch program so that you can get twice the results 3 times as fast. And how we do that is we're going to provide you with a dedicated client success coach. Because you're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, how much time would I have to invest in setting this all up? You know, how much money would this take to set this all up? And those are all understandable, right? Because time is a very limited and finite resource. You know, what is it that I don't know? Well, we've taken care of all of that by providing a dedicated client success coach who will work with you and the virtual assistant to make sure that you're getting everything that you want from them, that the strategies that you want implemented are being implemented, so that you're setting up predictable streams of new listings and leads into your business, okay? So the 90-day launch provides you with hands-on help with implementing systems, training, and management, all right? So what you're gonna get today is a business in a box and the 90-day launch program, which is valued at $997. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what else might you need? Well, we thought that through. We talked with a lot of our most successful clients, and we realized that ongoing training and management support would be really helpful. So we went out and put together Mod University, MyOutDesk University. And what this is it's mastermind access for all your staff, for your virtual assistants, and for any other staff you may have. See, most real estate agents are in a lot of masterminds, or at least in one mastermind, but very rarely do you see a mastermind for the staff, right? And some of our more successful clients were like, hey, it'd be great if I could send my VAs and if I could send my staff to some masterminds to get better at their job. Well, we have a network of over 1,500 virtual assistants. We have a mastermind in place. And with a flip of a switch, we turn that on. And now what we do is we host mastermind, we provide mastermind access to all the virtual assistants to one another, so they can constantly keep learning from each other and improving from each other. This way, you get to stay current with what's working and catching trends as they appear. With the MyOutDesk advantage, when we learn about things like this open house strategy that oh so few agents know about, you get to benefit from that by being plugged in to the MyOutDesk community and getting that implemented for your business. This also keeps your staff trained, and also, we have training to almost all, we get training access to most of the vendor tools out there, whether it's a CRM or whether it's some sort of other tool platform. Because of the size of our company, we're able to get access to most vendor tool trainings, and we can train your staff and your virtual assistants on them, regardless of what CRM you use or what paperwork process you use or any other tools that you use, simply because we are in the business of making sure that you get the most that you can out of your staff and out of your virtual assistant to make sure that you can grow your business predictably. And most vendors out there want to be able to retain their clients, so of course it's valuable for them to have us be able to train virtual assistants on their tools. So regardless of what tools you use, we either have already trained our virtual assistants on them, or we can train them on them if you just tell us what vendors you use, okay? So what you're going to get today is a business in a box valued at $1,997. You're going to get the 90-day launch program, which is valued at $997. And then you're going to get access to Mod University, which if you were billed $97 a month for it for 12 months, that would be $1,164. So the value of everything that we've put together here for you today is $4,158. Now, if all this did was get you hours of your revenue productive time or personal time back, would it be worth it? I personally say yes. It would be worth $4,158 to get massive chunks of your revenue productive time back. If all this did was generate more listings every month, would that be worth it? From my perspective, for only $4,158, it would be. If this took you off the real estate roller coaster and started giving you predictability in your business once and for all, would that be worth it? From my perspective, for only $4,158, it certainly would be. So you can see why this would be a good deal at $5,000 or close to it. For the general public, the setup fee to get going on this is $397. But because you're special, because you're here on the webinar with me today, you can get started now for just a you can get started now for just a $297 deposit, and we'll actually waive the retail cost of everything else. So you will not have to pay the $4,158, okay? All you need to do is make a deposit today of $297 by going to myoutdesk.com/start. And what will happen is you'll get contacted within the next 24 hours by a MyOutDesk representative. We'll have an in-depth conversation with you about your business and what you're looking to accomplish, what your goals are, where you've been, where you want to go. And then we'll get a good idea of who you're looking for as the cultural and personality fit as a virtual assistant, and what strategies and processes you want deployed into your business. And then what we'll do is we'll go out and we'll find those candidates for you, and we'll get you set up with interviews for 2 to 4 of those candidates that match exactly what you're looking for, okay? And then when you pick one of the candidates that you like, if you like any of them, and then if you decide to hire one of them, then you're simply going to pay a flat recurring fee per month for that virtual assistant, and you'll never be charged for the $4,158 in retail value of what you're getting with this entire process from MyOutDesk. We're literally going to completely waive it for you. We're dropping $100 off the setup fee, and so if you just make a $297 deposit, you can get started today. Now, it gets better, because if you ask yourself, what else might you need? We thought it through and realized you would need tools for your virtual assistant. So we've thrown in some bonuses. Today, you get access, if you take action today, you get access to salesdialers.com 3-line system for free for 90 days. So literally, when you hire a virtual assistant, they will come with a 3-line phone system for free for 90 days, which normally, if you went to salesdialers.com and bought this at retail value, it sells for $109 a month. So this is a $318 cost that you can waive and get completely for free. This alone costs more than the deposit. But then what else might you need, you might ask yourself? Well, what about data and lists for your virtual assistants to be able to do circle prospecting around, perhaps open houses, or maybe calling on expires and FSBOs, or perhaps putting together owner-occupied mailing lists? Well, bonus number 2 today is you get access for free for 3 months, for 90 days, to agentcircleprospecting.com, which is normally $39 a month. And what that is that it's some of the best lists and data in the industry available to real estate agents, okay? And so your virtual assistant will come with access to this for free for 90 days, and you'll have access to it as well for free for 90 days once you hire a virtual assistant. So to recap what you're going to get today, you're going to get the Business in a Box, which is a pre-trained, pre-vetted virtual assistant that comes with access to 5 proven strategies. One of them that I've shared with you today, the open house strategy, that they can implement for you as a process. You're going to get the 90-day launch support from us. That's a hands-on, dedicated client success coach that's going to work with you and your VA to make sure that you guys create the positive traction and results that you need in the first 90 days. And you're also going to get lifetime access to Mod University for your staff, so that you're always staying abreast of any new developments or trends that we're discovering here with the MyOutDesk Advantage. And you're also going to get access to salesdialers.com for free for 90 days. And you're going to get access to Agent Circle Prospecting for free for 90 days. Now, this entire package altogether, retail value, again, is worth $4,593. And here's the best part. All of this comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you make when you make the $297 deposit today, if we don't match you with a qualified virtual assistant within 30 days, you will get a full refund, no hassles, or no questions asked, okay? So it's on us to perform and to deliver you 2 to 4 candidates that you can interview on video to check for competency, check for personality match, check for a good fit, check for language skills. And if we find you somebody within 30 days, then you can obviously hire them. If we don't find you someone within 30 days, you can simply get a full refund, no hassles, no questions asked. So all the risk has been completely eliminated here for you. So the real question from my perspective is it worth gambling just a few minutes of your time to see if even half of what I've shared today on this webinar works? Because if it does, it'll pay for itself within the first few weeks, but more importantly, it will continue to pay for itself many, many, many times over, just like you saw with Chris Suarez and with Lisa Archer and what they have happening in their businesses. So again, to recap, because I want to make sure you understand clearly what you're able to get access to today. Make the $297 deposit. You're going to be in the queue to talk with one of our reps within the first 24 hours from when you make the deposit. We're going to dig into your business and make sure we understand as much about it as possible so we can find you the right virtual assistant that's going to come to you with 5 proven strategies. That's the business in a box. And then you're going to get a dedicated success coach that's going to be assigned to you and your VA to work with you hands-on for the first 90 days, because we've statistically learned that this is where most hires fail, and this is also where most agents kind of hit a sticking point because of, how much time does it take? How much work is this going to take? What do I not know about onboarding or hiring or training or managing? Well, we help you with all of that to make it as quick and as painless as possible in the 90-day launch. And then again, you get access to Mod University so that you and your staff are constantly staying abreast of current trends and most recent developments and new strategies that we're discovering through the MyOutDesk Advantage so you can implement them for your business. And then again, you're going to get access to bonus number 1, which is the salesdialers.com 90-day trial. And you're going to get access to bonus number 2, agentcircleprospecting.com 90-day trial. Okay? So again, to get started now for just a $297 deposit, go to www.myoutdesk.com/start. And if you have any questions still, you can always dial the number on the screen and chat with one of us right away, 1-800-583-9950. In summary here, and I've got a couple more slides and we're going to wrap up. What's different about this offer from my perspective? Well, from my perspective, what's really different about this compared to anything else out there is that there is a plan and a vision for you when you come on board as a client. This isn't just you hiring a virtual assistant and you got to figure things out with them on your own. We have a real plan in place for helping you succeed. This isn't just matching you with somebody who can do some tasks, right? There's a plan for helping you set up predictable streams of listing leads and clients using virtual assistants so that you can start getting off the real estate roller coaster and start building predictability and scalability in your business. There's also lots of options so you don't get stuck, okay? We're going to put you in front of 2 to 4 candidates that are matched for you so that you have options. They're going to have access to 5 different listing getting strategies they could implement for you as a process into your business. So that if one for some reason doesn't work out right away, you've got other options. There's always a backup plan to the plan, okay? And there's also a process for getting through this. We have the 90-day launch process to help you make sure that you're successful with this out of the gate. Again, in the first 90 days is when most agents fail with a hire. But as you learn, there's 3 predictable patterns every agent must go through to achieve the ultimate level of success that most of us want for our business. Predictable pattern number 1 was time productivity. Predictable pattern number 2 is hiring and building a team. We all know this, right? You know this. But that's also where the biggest sticking point is. So we've built a process around making sure that you can get through it. And then there's proof that this works predictably, right? You've met proof of that here on this webinar today. You've seen 2 case studies of that, and you're going to get access to so much more of that in Mod University, okay? In closing, what I'd like to say is this. If you want to build a business that's ultimately stable, predictable, successful, and provides the lifestyle that you envision for yourself, your family, your friends, and your loved ones in your community, and allows you to make the contributions that you'd like to make, and allows you to live the life that you'd like to live, right? The quality of life that you see for yourself and for your future, you're going to have to build a business that has a good team in it that's constantly running processes and implementing processes for you that are generating predictable streams of new listings and new business. And you're going to have to do that now, or you're going to have to do that later. But if you're going to end up with a successful real estate business, one that is delivering the quality of life for you that you have a vision of, whatever that is, you're going to have to do this now or later. Simply because after seeing so much data on what are the key points that every agent's business goes through to become ultimately successful, this is one of the 3 must-haves, okay? So the decision today for you is, do I do it now with all the support and all the help that I can get from MyOutDesk, where it's not just a team member, but it's also access to proven strategies and processes they can implement for me that are clearly working, right? As you saw with Chris Suarez and Lisa Archer. And I also get access with I also get help with a 90-day launch where I get a dedicated success coach to help me figuring things out and making sure that I don't lose all my time trying to do this. And anything I don't know, they can answer for me and help me to make it as painless as possible, right? If you want to get, and I get access to Mod University where my staff can stay constantly trained, and you get access to all the bonuses that come with this, the sales dialer for free for 90 days, and this data and list through Agent Circle prospecting free for 90 days. Now's the time to do it if you want to have an ultimately successful real estate business, because I'm hard-pressed to think of a better offer out there that you can find than with Business in a Box, which is what we have for you here, which is as soon as you unpack it, you get everything you need to be able to deploy a successful listing getting and client getting process into your business that works for you on your behalf, regardless of how you're feeling that day or what you're busy with that day or what else you may have going on in your life, okay? So to get started right now and join the MyOutDesk community at absolutely no risk to you with a full 30-day money-back guarantee on your $297 deposit, go to myoutdesk.com/start and just make a $297 deposit, which is just for us to make sure that there's real intent and high probability on your part, and we'll be on the phone with you very quickly and getting you set up with all the resources that I've shared with you here today. And again, you're under no obligation to hire any of the candidates we put in front of you. If you don't like any of them, if you ultimately don't like any of them, that's totally up to you. But at least this puts you in the queue and gets you started. And again, it comes with a 30-day full money-back guarantee if we're not able to put you in touch with 2 to 4 qualified candidates to interview via video. And then, of course, if you like any of them, you can hire them. And then it will be a recurring monthly fee for them, depending on whether you're having them work part-time or full-time or what you're having them do for you. That's a rate that can be flexible and that can go up and down, all right? So go to myoutdesk.com/start, make a $297 deposit. We're waiving the $4,158 in retail value that you'll normally have to pay for all those things. You can get started for just the deposit today. And I'm absolutely looking forward to helping those of you who have made a decision to join right now, helping you to become our next success stories here at the MyOutDesk community. And now I'm going to go to the chat box to check for any questions that we have, just so that I can have an opportunity to answer any questions live that we're having right now. So Danny asks, after deposit, what is the cost? Danny, typically after the deposit, most usually part-time virtual assistants with us end up being around $950 a month. Full-time virtual assistants end up being $1,750 a month. Okay, that's typically the cost. It's a flat recurring fee, and what happens is that we take care of all payroll, so it's an ongoing relationship. We don't just kind of set you adrift in a boat with a virtual assistant and figure it out on your own. It's an ongoing relationship. It's a flat recurring fee with us, and then that way you can control your expenses tightly, and if they're not working out, then what we do for you is we actually swap them out and replace them with another virtual assistant. So you never have to go through the hiring cycle anymore, and you don't have to go through the firing process anymore. If they're doing well, but then for some reason they stop working out or they're not performing well anymore, as employees sometimes do, we simply swap them out for you so that you continue to have continuity in your business processes and in your listing and lead getting processes. So it's a flat recurring fee. Usually around $950 a month for part-time and $1,750 a month for full-time. And then again, that comes with a dedicated success coach. And then Linwood here asks, what if I already have a dialer? Well, then you continue to use that. You're obviously under no obligation to use you're under no obligation to use the existing the dialer offer that we have. MJ asks, this is all great. What about existing customers? You're an existing customer. MJ, we're making the 5 strategies available to all of our existing customers as well. The sales dialer, the 3-line sales dialer for free, that's part of that's for new clients because that's just a partnership that we've struck with salesdialers.com. Becca asks, What is the monthly price? How many hours of work? I think I've just answered that question. Again, part-time versus full-time is typically the two options. And then I've just already named the price points for that, typically recurring per month. By the way, there's no long-term contract on this, okay? We don't lock you in a long-term contract. You're in a contract for the first 90 days because that gives us a chance to deploy all of the 90-day launch program for you without charging you for any of it, right? And it gives us that 90 days to help you become successful with the talent. After that, you're month to month, and we're not locking you to any sort of contract. Savannah asks, did you say yes? Absolutely. Did you say you only serve the real estate industry? Most of our clients are in the real estate industry, but we do not exclusively only serve the real estate industry. We have clients in quite a few other industries as well, including legal and insurance and medical. But primarily, most of our clients are in real estate. Becca asks, can we see the programs that we have access to? When you join when you make a deposit, when you make your deposit and you join and you're put in the queue for the process, then what happens is that when you hire a virtual assistant, they come access with the strategies. We do not make all the strategies and processes available prior to hiring a virtual assistant with us. That comes with the virtual assistant. But you've already seen some of one of them, so that gives you an idea of what we're sitting on in here that we provide to our community as the MyOutDesk Advantage. Mike asks, how fast can I get interviews for a prospector and get them on the phone? I'm not 100% sure, Mike. That's in our talent acquisition department, and I'm not 100% sure on what the lead time is right now. But I would say the sooner you make your deposit, the sooner you'll get somebody on the phone to talk with them. That would match with what you're looking for. We typically are able to have somebody found and hired within 2 to 4 weeks. We guarantee 30 days. Dave asks, is that the cost for 3 VAs or just one? I'm not sure what price point you were talking about. The cost for 1 VA part-time is around $950 a month. The cost for 1 VA full-time is around $1,750 a month, Dave. We hire only the best of the best. We hire high-quality folks that have, like I said, the 3 E's: experience, expertise, and employment. So we make sure, and then obviously, actually, the deposit that you pay us, we don't even keep it. We pay it to the virtual assistant as a hiring bonus. That's one way that we're able to recruit great talent away from other business process outsourcers, maybe like big phone companies, banks, credit card companies. We're able to recruit trained customer service people and trained marketing people away from those companies by paying them a much higher monthly salary than other virtual assistant companies do. And we pay them a hiring bonus, which is your deposit. And when we do that, we're actually able to attract quality rock star talent, which is why our clients stay with us for so long and stick with us and then hire more VAs with us, like Lisa Archer, for example, because we do all the work of finding the right people and then getting you set up with them. Blake asks, what is part-time? 20 hours a week, full-time 40 hours a week? Yes, that's exactly right, Blake. 20 and 40, just like you would think of it in the States. Dennis asks, could it be started part-time? It can be started part-time as long as it makes sense for your business. When you make the deposit, we'll have a chance to talk with you and have an in-depth interview with you and figure out where your business is at and what you need for your business. And then we're able to map out a specific plan for you, what kind of hire you need, what kind of process they need to come to your business with, and what they need to implement for you. And then we'll take a look at your business and make sure that we're giving you what you need. We're not interested in just making a sale. We're interested in having a very long-term relationship with each one of our clients. So we will make sure that after we get to know you and your business, once you've made your deposit, that we get to get in depth with you and know exactly what you need. Kai asks, where are the VAs located? Most of our virtual assistants are in the Philippines. Jeff asks, are there any hidden fees add-ons? No, there are no hidden fees. Your $950 a month, let me clarify this, your $950 a month or $1,750 a month is your all-in. There's no taxes, there's no employment stuff, there's no medical stuff. We pay all of that. So we are the only real estate virtual assistant company that I know of that pays medical and benefits to our VAs, okay? And that comes from what you're paying. So you are covering it in your flat monthly subscription fee, but to you, you're not dealing with any of the legality of that because you're just simply paying us a monthly recurring subscription. We take care of payroll, medical, benefits. We do all of that for you. We take care of all that for you. So your $950 a month or your $1750 a month, whatever it comes to, it's your all in. There's no other hidden fees. I love that you're asking that question, Jeff. There's no other hidden fees or add-on little tacked-on prices. Now, if you want to hire more VAs, obviously you're going to pay more per month, but that's you adding on an entire new person. That's not you getting billed at the end of the month for some extra this or extra that we're tacking on. No. Your $950 a month or your approximately $1750 a month, whatever it comes to, is going to be your all-in every month, so you know exactly what your expenses are. Savannah asks, are the support tools you provide going to help someone not in real estate? Yes, we have a lot of clients who are not in the real estate industry, and if there's some sort of a tool that you want used from a vendor by your virtual assistant, we can typically get, because of the size of our company, we can get access to that vendor training. And then also, if you're talking about just the sales dialer and the data, the sales dialer can obviously be used for any industry. It's just a 3-line sales dialer that, as long as you plug it into a list of data, can be called upon. Dennis asks, can all 5 start with the part-time VA? Dennis, if I understand your question, you're asking if all 5 strategies that I shared with you could be implemented with a part-time VA. I seriously doubt that, my friend. You know, those 5 strategies, those 5 processes, you would want to focus on one at a time and get them implemented and get them running for you. We highly advise against trying to do all 5 at the same time. That's what oftentimes many people try to do is, we try to take on too much. We bite off more than we can chew. If you want to just get one of them implemented and producing business for you predictably, it can completely transform your business. So that's what you want to focus on. But you especially wouldn't be able to do all 5 with a part-time VA. Yeah, like I said before, you're not hiring Superman or Wonder Woman. You're hiring somebody who's competent, skilled, gets it, wants it, can do the job, and then you want to make sure that you set them up for success. And our dedicated success coach that would be assigned to you and your virtual assistant is there to make sure that the VA is performing exactly what it is that you're looking for, but then also work with you on having the right expectations and making sure that you're building a team the way a team needs to be built based upon how we see uber successful agents like Chris and Lisa growing their businesses. By the way, just so you guys know, some of our other clients include Ken Wimberly, Tristan Ahumada from Lab Code Agents, Ben Kinney, Nolly Williams, Jeff Andrew and Angela Duncan. Big names that you would know of, most you probably really know of. Those are all clients of ours, and they stay with us. And trust me, those high demand, high performance, uber successful agents would not be our long-term clients if we didn't deliver the goods. Eds asks, how do you get access to Mod University? And then Randy asks, when does the 90 days start? When the VA is training up and running, or from day one of the selection process? So I'll answer both questions, and I think that we're going to wrap up here for the sake of time. What happens is that the 90-day process starts when the VA is hired. The VAs are pre-trained and the VAs are pre-vetted for the 3 E's, and the GWC gets it, wants it, is competent before they're even put in front of you. Once you hire them, there's always a little bit of training that has to happen just to make sure that you're getting things done the way you want them done. Every agent is unique in their business, their marketplace, and what they want to accomplish. So there's always a level of training that has to happen. But that's why we include a client success coach to work with you and the virtual assistant to make sure that that happens as smoothly as possible, and to also make sure that you're getting the support and the implementation that you need. So the 90-day launch process starts when you hire a virtual assistant, not when you make a deposit and then you're losing time between the deposit and the meeting the candidates and the hiring them, okay? And then also, to answer the other question, how do we get access to Mod University? You get access to that. Your virtual assistant gets access to the mastermind once they're hired and they're on your team and they're working with you. And then they get access to our entire global network of virtual assistants so that they can learn from each other. And then also here in the short future, we're going to start hosting actually dedicated training sessions and knowledge subject matter expertise sessions to keep upping the quality of all of our actively placed virtual assistants globally. Dee asks, can you send a link to this recorded webinar so I can show it to my team leader? Yeah, we are recording this, and I believe we'll be able to send out a recording. We typically don't record trainings, but we are recording this training, and if it works out well and it's all there, then I believe we'll be able to send out a recording of this. All right, guys. Well, yeah, Dee says thank you. You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, looks like the questions have kind of quieted down. So again, if you haven't already, go to myoutdesk.com/start. Make your $297 deposit. You'll be on the phone with us in short order. It comes with a full 30-day money-back guarantee, no risk to you. Get in the queue, start the process. We'll guarantee to have you in front of 2 to 4 solid candidates within 30 days. Usually happens within 2 weeks, and you'll be well on your way with a quality team member that can help take a lot of things off your plate and can also help you to implement a proven business building process. And again, for $297 deposit, you can get access to the Business in a Box offering. You can jump right in now, and we'll get going from there. And again, at no risk to you. So myoutdesk.com/start. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the webinar now. And you guys take care and have a great day.